Hi, hello. So last week we've seen a video showing a professional pilot flying ENC fully accelerated into liner, a pretty dynamic wing, full accelerated, getting a frontal collapse, and his reaction, where he actually stabilized the wing like in 10 seconds of time. So let's have a look then on the reaction of a pilot who has actually no idea what he's doing. I mean, in theory, probably he has, but in practice, yeah. Let's see the other scenario. If you have never had a SIV, and actually, I was flying for almost like around 10 years, or maybe even more than 10 years at this time, but I never had like SIV or even a frontal collapse like this. And when it happened, yeah, I was fully out of the of my mind. I freaked out fully. So let's see it, and then we're gonna discuss it. This is exactly the same type of situation. I just handle it differently, so that the importance of this video is actually that you understand that if you see something that seems to be easy to do, may depend a lot on the on the actual skill of the pilot. If the pilot is skilled, then even like complex maneuvers like full stop, for example, may seem to be easy. And if you have no idea what you're doing, I mean, in theory maybe you can have an idea, because I was theoretically pretty well prepared for this, but then in practice I just freak out, and then it's a very different reality. Okay. So let's go back. So now it was handled in 1 minute instead of 10 seconds, with a bit different outcome. Huh? So let's see and discuss the difference actually to the previous video, to the Greg's reaction. Wait, it was still, no, so it was more than 1 minute. I thought it was 39. Okay. So first thing first, even if we go a little bit here, wait. So I fly here actually fully accelerated, and this wing is like an older wing. You have 4 risers basically, but it's like an equivalent of high B nowadays. And I keep my hands on all of the risers, so I don't really control the wing. I'm a passenger here. So this is already like a first big mistake. But I still have hands in my brake handle, so it's not so bad. And now let's move it forward a bit. So now this is a bit different video, because at the time, I mean 360, it wasn't like this. It's a normal GoPro video actually, so it's a more like first-person view. What you see, the video is actually mounted on the helmet, so you see what I see. And now actually you already notice there's this movement up. My hands, my legs are rising. This is what you've seen in the other video. The wing stays behind and you're thrown to the front and actually going on your back. And this is the moment, if you look a little bit on the right side, my hand is disappearing, and this is actually the moment where I support myself with my right hand. So it's still there, but now it goes really far. You don't see it, and actually you see another moment that the line was really low, and this is the reason why now once the wing once the wing actually starts to refly, it's only the left side that reflies, because I brake hardly with the right side, because I support myself with the right hand, and yeah, and I don't let the wing to fly. And the other aspect here is, if you see here, I'm still full speed. So I freaked out and I forgot to release my speed bar, even though in theory I knew that is what I should do in the first moment. But yeah, but this is the difference between theory and practice. So now I'm spinning, and actually I was spinning because now it stops, this movement stops, but I was spinning, and this was my first spin in my life. I've never done this, no SIV before. I'm fully freaked out and I don't even know what's happening now, because I'm just some movements that I just don't know, don't understand, never seen, never trained, never done. So oh, I'm still spinning. So now you see I'm just rotating in one space, in one I'm just rotating in one moment, I mean in one place, so to say. So it's not a spiral, it's just spin in one place. And what happens somehow now, because since I'm not trained, I don't even know what my hands are doing, so somehow I release my the right hand that was supporting. It's not supporting anymore, it goes up, and it lets the right side fly. So this is still spinning, and now so I'm still turning right, because there's inertia in this. I was turning to the right, and actually there's inertia of the movement, so my body is still continuing to turn. And since I'm full speed and my legs are stretched, I have quite a larger moment of inertia. If I would have kept my legs under my ass, as I should do. And now actually I released my brake, right brake, and the wing starts to fly again. The right side starts to actually it was spinning, so it was like moving to the back, and so it was, yeah, like negative. So the airflow was coming from the back to the front, and once I release the brake, yeah, it starts to fly the other direction. And since it's coming from the back, it's gonna be like a huge movement. So you can already see it, because I stepped on the lines, and now it is here that it starts to shoot, and it's shoot asymmetrically. So there's like coming out of the spin, the left side was flying, the right side was spinning. That's why the right side has more movement, more speed actually. That's why it goes a little bit to the left, and you see how far it goes. So it goes actually, the wing goes under the horizon, out of the spin, because I have no idea what's happening basically. So I'm not prepared for this. I'm fully behind. I do no braking, nothing. I'm just a passenger now. Still trying to get. I mean, just freaked out already. But yeah, trying to understand what's going on. And as you see, I'm almost not falling, but touching the wing. So I could get entangled in the lines, and it could be really bad. But I'm lucky I'm not entangled. Still full on the speed bar. Yeah. So that speed bar should be released in the very first moment, as you've seen the video. If you want to see the correct reaction, you go to the video from the week before, okay, the professional reaction, and then you will see it. So I'm not braking, and now the wing was in front of me. The lines were loose, and this is the moment where you can get a cravat. Once the lines get loose, you have a chance of getting cravat. That's why it's so important to stopping the wing from shooting in front of you, as the experienced pilot did in the other video. Of course, that was a bit different, because his shooting was after the frontal collapse, and my shooting was here after the spin. So it's a bit different. You wouldn't get so much shooting after just the collapse as I get here. But anyway, it's important to shoot. And even like this, even out of the frontal, you can get if you don't brake, you may get a collapse like this again, and the cravat. This is pretty common. So here now I have a huge cravat, so a lot of drag on the right side, and I have never had I never trained a spiral. I have never had a cravat in my life over like 10, 12, 13 years of flying. So I have no idea what to do. I have no reflexes, nothing. And now in no time I enter spiral. So now you see it's a full nose down spiral. Now I'm going to the ground like 15 meters per second. And I was very high at the beginning, but now if you look already, the mountain is already closer. In a spin you lose altitude, of course. When the wing in a full collapse you lose altitude. In a spin you lose altitude. When the wing is shooting in front of you, so you lose altitude a lot quickly. And now I'm spiraling down here. It's also quick losing altitude. And I'm starting here, but I didn't repeat to myself enough the phrase that after one turn I throw the reserve, because this is actually what I should have done here. But instead of this, since I'm an engineer, I tried, let's figure out something, although I was already freaking out. So it was yeah, like some freaking out, panicking way of save my life, but not the way I should do this with a safety parachute, but by trying to do something like else. And the idea was to pull the open side, to pull the brake on the open side, and this is what I start to do. You can see actually this is what's happening. But since I was never in the spiral and I was never thrown around, and I'm already fully freaked out and in full panic mode, I actually brake this open side with my two hands. This is what you may see somewhere my hand. And this is another thing that somehow, because this is collapsed so much that I'm hanging actually on just one side of this, so I'm spiraling down in this half twisted 180 degree twisted position now, where my legs are actually pointing to the sky, and the back are pointing to the ground. Let's imagine if I would just hit the ground like this, how much there would be to collect all the remains from the ground. And I'm not so high above. If you see the peaks, have I been doing this over those peaks, or the one behind that are even higher, then maybe that would be it actually. But yeah, I'm very lucky in this day, so I'm braking here, and now I'm starting to brake more. There is a moment where you may see my second hand, my right hand going to the left brake, and I pull with two hands the left brake. This is just a pure panic reaction. So now you see actually the wing is getting out of the spin. You see the leading edge is getting out of the horizon up. So actually I'm going out of the spin, but now I reach with the second hand. You see, this is not the handle. I just reach the line over. So I have one hand. This line is going to my left hand, and this is my right hand pulling this line even more. I mean, this is not funny, but I mean, since it's me, let's make it funny. After all those years and SIV training, it's less scary now than it was at the time, but still, I mean, it was very scary shit. So now I unfortunately go into the panic mode, and you see now already the wing is starting to deform. It's actually, I was in a spiral, and I spun the wing in the spiral. And if you do this, yeah, then you get twist, basically. So this is what I do here, and I'm still like full speed, full stretched legs. So yeah, so I get twist in no time. Now ask me where my second hand is. I don't know, but at least I have two brakes in one hand. It has no meaning basically. So I'm twisted, and this is more or less the moment where I notice how low I am. So at the beginning of this story, I was something like 600 meters over those peaks, and in my head I was very high, and I didn't even have to care about the terrain. and in those few seconds here I lost so much altitude, and I got at the level of the mountain basically, and this actually prompted me to do another panic reaction, which was throw the rescue reserve. And this is actually what I do now. So I'm throwing the reserve. Fortunately, I was able to throw it no problem. One move, and actually helpful here, because if I would be doing this in a spiral, I mean, this is why you should have to do it in the very beginning of the spiral. So you throw the reserve after one turn, or even before, if you see that you already lost control. And you have to judge your experience. If you have no experience with this stuff, then as soon as you start to turn whatever, it would be the moment to throw the reserve, because once you start to turn like this with a huge cravat, you might get this SAT movement actually, where the axis of rotation is between you and the wing. So if you throw the reserve, the wing is gonna eat it, and then it's done. But luckily, actually, for myself in this situation, since I was pulling so hard that I spun the wing, actually, I did. Again in this spiral, I stalled this open side in the spiral, so the rotation stopped, and now the risk of the chute getting trapped in the wing is much lower. So actually now you see the deployment of the parachute. It was freshly packed, although I wasn't packing those chutes as often as I should at that time, because it was not in my mind that I will never have to use like a rescue parachute. I mean, it was there, but I was not really prepared mentally to use it. That's why it took so much time actually, and I had to be so close to the ground to do this. And then that's why I was also neglecting a little bit, like packing them regularly. But luckily, due to a remark actually of another experienced pilot, actually I packed it, and so it was freshly packed, so it opens pretty quickly here, and yeah, and now I'm still on the full speed. So you see, I just fully out of my mind. I just freaked out fully, and I knew in theory that I have to get out of the speed, but yeah, it's just I was just overwhelmed by the situation by far. So now I'm falling under the rescue, wing in front of me, and actually I know that I have to disable the wing. This is theory again, but I've never done SIV. I never was in a situation like this, so I have no idea how to do this. Yeah, and actually also the trick is that the wind and the wing, this is a very small space of flat area in this mountain. I mean the whole area around, because there is everywhere there's like you see there's a steep mountain, behind there is like also like a forest going steep down there, and there was a little bit of wind coming from the right here, so I was also, and the wind was dragging me also out of the all this flat space as I understood it. So that was also motivation for me to disable the wing. There was one moment I was a bit confused, and I just look around, and I didn't work on the wing. But since I understood that it's blowing me actually the wind, and the wing is dragging me over this ridge, and then it just goes down the forest, that has motivated me actually to work on the wing again. But the problem is I have no idea how to do this. So actually the correct reaction would be to stall it, either by pulling the brakes. I mean, here it's twisted, so maybe it's difficult, but by pulling, let's say, the brake lines, if you see them here, if you find them, or I mean here the last rows, or even like a B stall, somehow disable the wing, because the problem here is that actually the wing is interacting with the rescue parachute, and you're falling really quickly. And when I had a look on the Vario later on the GPS track, I was falling here around 10 meters per second, so I was falling pretty quickly under this chute. And yeah, and this could be avoided by disabling the wing, but I have no idea how to do this, and I started to pull all of the lines, and it's just impossible, because the wing is still inflated, it still flies down there, so it generates lift, it's pulling weight out of you, and so as long as it's flying, it's not possible to put it down, to put it back. So actually, yeah, I should have stalled it somehow, but I failed. And then I had little, then I started to pull it on the side, but then I look actually how low I am, and I see also that I'm falling over this roof, and probably this was the reason why I stopped to pull it in, because I wanted to fly a bit away of the, now I've seen that I won't fly over the ridge, but I may end up in the roof. So I believe this is the why I left the wing down plane, to actually get me out of this roof area. Anyway, so now I'm just a passenger, and this is just pure luck. If I land on the roof, I may get injured, I may do some damage to the property. If I land on the cow, there are many cows there. I didn't know this at the time, it was just after this they explained to me. My chute or my wing may just, wrap around the cow, and the cow may just freak out and just start to run all around me, dragging me, and I had no safety knife with me at that time, so I wouldn't be able to cut myself out of the wing. So if the wing falls off any of this cow and it starts to run, I will be dragged over all of those stones, and there were cases actually where pilots got killed like this, just by being dragged over the stones by a panicking animal. Yeah, so I did it wasn't trained again, but I did some kind of like of PLF, parachute landing fall. So I had like, this cow was really close, so I had like those two legs under me, and they were stretched, and I kind of like turned and I rolled a little bit. So I mean, I had my hands stretched, so you should have your hands close to your body. The best thing is there are tons of PLF, parachute landing fall videos on the YouTube actually, some done by, kind of like Navy SEALs or something like this, so it's pretty cool to watch how the professionals do it, and they also explain it. This is where you should learn it, because you may need it. And accidentally I did it, and I kind of like survived. So summing up, I survived with no injuries. It was really lucky, and I'm really glad, so that I could continue fly for another many years basically. Anyway, so summing up, last week you've seen a video where you get the same situation, frontal collapse, fully accelerated, similar type of wing. Even the other one is probably a bit more dynamical in the other video, and the pilot is trained, has experience, is current, and reacts, and in 9 seconds he's flying again straight as he was. Nothing happens. And here we have another pilot who has no idea he has never done SIV, had never had a collapse, was never spinning, spiraling, having cravat, throwing rescue, disabling the wing, never done this, and he was not flying actively, and who's fully like freaking out actually. And you see a very different outcome, and it was extremely lucky here. But there were like, while watching, when doing my work on the spiral, I wasn't looking down there. I seen this mountain next to me, but not down there. I could have actually and I was with my back to the ground, as you've seen, so looking up. So I could just, if I would be lower, or if this mountain, I would be falling over the mountain top. I could just got killed in the just by just crashing into the mountain. And if you do it in the spiral like this, yes, probably against the stones, probably little chance to survive. Then there is the second element where I could injure myself on the roof, and this third was where I can actually get wrapped around, the wing or chute around the cow, and got killed, or severely injured by being dragged over the stones, since I had no rescue knife to cut myself out of the wing. Yeah, so extremely lucky. And my conclusion basically out of this situation was that I either do SIV and a lot of acro training. Actually, well, my conclusion not at this moment, but after I discuss it, it's professional pilots. They all told me basically that I should do SIV and the basics of acro, like getting to the point where I had my like 200 stalls done, so I will be able to handle the wing like in situations like this better. And I got to the conclusion that either I do this, and so that if the situation like this happens again, I will be able to react in the proper way and not risk my life for no reason, or I stop flying cross country and I would just fly, like in the evenings or in the mornings where there are no thermals and easy conditions, or soaring in easy conditions, stuff like this. So actually, I decided to go for cross country. So next year, actually, I spend most of the time like doing SIVs and acro training. Many weeks. I did 7 weeks altogether, and I had my 200 stalls. And since then, luckily, I was able to react correctly to whatever happened to me. But being honest, I don't use full speed a lot anyway. So I still have like a lot of respect to flying like fully accelerated. Yeah, after the situation. So I hope this helps to give you another perspective on the video that we've seen last week. Because if you just watch the other video, you may think, oh, full collapse, no problem, I can handle it. And this video is actually here to show you that you may only handle it if you are properly trained, you have a lot of experience and recency actually in your flying. And yeah, so that's it. Let me know what you think, and then also please comment, subscribe, like, and press this button, bell button, to give you like a notification when I put another